My name is Rhys Dickinson. I am 24 years old and currently living in London, and I work for Cancom UK, a large IT provider and enabler of digital transformation for businesses across the UK. I graduated the University of Lincoln with a master's in international law last year, as well as an undergraduate in law. I have been fortunate to visit and tour the White House. I have worked and travelled America. I've even climbed Everest Base Camp filming a documentary for Amazon Prime. I've appeared in multiple news and TV shows talking about my experiences and have met some of the most amazing people in the world. However, I nearly failed to achieve any of this. 12 years ago, I was in a very different place in my life. I had few friends and I was angry at everyone around me. I didn't understand my feelings and felt I had nothing in my life to live for. From the age of 6, I was subjected to physical and sexual abuse from a man close to me and my family. I was beaten and abused by this man for over 4 years. He did things to me that no one should ever have to suffer. I was petrified of him, and I thought so many times about trying to tell someone, but I feared what he would do to me. I was ashamed of what happened, and I felt dirty. No one would believe me. Then things would just get even worse. I thought my only way out would be just to end my life. But somehow, each day, I just found something to cling on to, some little bit of happiness to keep me going. I then finally built up the courage to tell my mum, but this was only the start of my journey of recovery and transformation. I am here today to talk about the topic of transformation. But what does transformation mean, though? To each of us, it can be different. In the simplest of terms, we could say it's a marked change, be that in form, appearance, or shape. That can be in us as humans, in the environment, or everything around us. Animals, the entire planet, the solar system. Transformation is constantly happening around us. And in many ways, if we don't transform, we risk being left behind. For me, though, and what I want to focus on today, is transformation is about choices. The choices that we make, me and you, day in, day out. We all go on multiple transformations throughout our lives. Some successful, some failed. Be it physical, psychological, or something entirely different. This past year, all of us have been on a transformation in the way that we go about our lives every day due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This has forced each of us and society to transform in a radical way. We've had to embrace digital and be grateful that in these times we have technology to keep us all connected. This change has been hard for many of us, and you are probably asking where this is going, but we will come back to this point. Throughout this talk, I want to take you on a transformational journey. We will go through some of the challenges that I have faced to get to where I am today, how my transformation ultimately came about, and how each of you can use this after my talk to help you in the choices that you decide to take. I hope what I'm about to share with you will help open your mind and give you a new way to approach decisions in your life. Going back to the start of this talk, I set the scene how from a young age I experienced a series of traumatic and life-changing events. We've all suffered some form of adversity or challenges in our lives, probably multiple and all on different scales. But it's not about the level of suffering because each of us is affected differently by the things that we face in life. But what can set us apart is how we react afterwards. How we don't have to run from our problems and suffering, but in fact use them to truly change our lives for the better. It was through the support of embraced child victims of crime that I first thought I could change my life. For once, I didn't feel like I was alone in the world. I wasn't the only one that had been through this. It wasn't my fault. I had done nothing wrong. They showed me that I shouldn't be ashamed of what had happened to me. No one should ever be ashamed. I was a victim of abuse. I've suffered mental health issues from anxiety and depression, and I spent 6 weeks in witness protection. I wanted to end my life. Even before this, my dad has been in and out of my life and in and out of hospital. He suffers from severe paranoid schizophrenia. I haven't let that affect me. Yes, I've struggled at times and I've struggled a lot, but I am stood here today, a happy, confident young man talking to all of you. Many people didn't think I would have made it, and who would have blamed them? Yes, I've been through my fair share of adversity, and yes, I could easily have taken a different route. Look, would you have judged me? I could easily have gone down a dark path to self destruction, but I didn't want to let life win in this way. I didn't want to let my abuser take away even more of my life. After I'd given evidence against this abuser, I was still suffering. I couldn't understand the way that I felt. I was constantly stressed and on edge. I couldn't trust anyone, and I was withdrawing myself from society. I had no friends, and I was suffering from severe migraines, just constantly worrying about everything that was happening in my life and worrying about what people thought of me. I barely left the house. I feared walking down the street. This was no way to live my life. I then took the decision to get counselling. And it was hard at first, and I was reluctant to open up and just reveal how I felt. Because, one, I was reluctant to trust anyone after having trusted someone before and then even betraying that trust in the worst way possible. And two, I didn't actually know how I actually felt. The anger I had deep inside of me for a time was buried in fear. But after getting over my fear and dealing with the anger, I was then really kind of able to understand my feelings and find ways to deal with these issues. I eventually came to control these feelings through a range of techniques. But look, it was mainly just talking in many ways. And that has been the core of my transformation, and I use this still today. And look, it doesn't have to be counseling. Going back to my point earlier, with the pandemic, we've all been forced to use digital ways to connect. Even mum and dad, nan and granddad are using Zoom for their family quizzes. There is no excuse why we can't have a conversation with someone. We live in a 24/7 connected world. Help is there whenever we need it. It's that old saying, a problem shared is a problem halved. With growing interconnectivity, counselling can be more accessible than ever. And look, counselling helped me by supporting my recovery, by effectively communicating with me and working closely with me to kind of understand me as a person and where I was at on my road to recovery to effectively prepare me for my return to normality. As I said earlier, transformation is a change, and some through our own choosing and some may be forced upon us. But we always have a choice in affecting the outcome. For example, a simple transformation that a lot of people decide to undertake is a diet. You have the start, you have the journey, and you have the finish, the end result. The start is there's a realization, a moment where you decide that you're going to do this for one reason or another. You then undertake that journey, be it weekly, monthly. You see the changes. You follow the diet, and you might lose weight. You don't follow the diet, and you might not lose weight, or you might even gain weight. But you see it across the journey, and then the finish is the end result, and the result is determined by the choices that you decided to take during your journey, and the results are always affected by the choices you decided to take. I keep telling myself, and I'm sure many of us have at one point or another, I need to lose a bit of weight or I need to get a bit fitter, but I keep failing to undertake that transformation. Why? I don't have enough time, we're in lockdown and gyms aren't open? Or is it just the simple fact that maybe I don't want it that much? They say that the results we want the most are on the side of the things that we want to do the least. They say that the results that we want the most are on the side of the things that we want to do the least. I don't want to stop eating the foods I love, and I don't want to give up beer and wine. So, unless I make a conscious decision to make them choices, my transformation won't be as impactful. Look, obviously, you don't have to give up everything, but you do have to make some sacrifice. Small, regular steps can lead to great success. It took me 3 years of counseling to make the steps I needed to get to where I am today. And some more examples of transformation: physical transformation. Age is affected by natural change, but it's affected by the environment. We can still influence this transformation through our choices, through diet, through smoking, through drinking. It can all affect our physical transformation. Psychological, life experiences. It changes your mind, your opinions, consciously, subconsciously. You don't realize it's transforming you. It's affected by the choices in the books that you decide to read, the TV that you watch, the friends you even surround yourself with. This can all subconsciously start to transform who you are or the way that you think. Every day, all the time, your whole life. It's all affected by choices. My dad, as I mentioned earlier, suffers from schizophrenia. Before this, he had multiple good jobs. He was a great chef and he worked on the railways for a while. Then he was first diagnosed. He sought help and he was in and out of hospital, but he made some bad choices. He could have decided to really accept the help that he was given and say to himself, I will do everything I can to be as well as possible. But he decided, through his choices, to drink more and more, turn to several drugs, and never really truly made the choices that could have helped transform his life. Yes, it wasn't all his fault necessarily. His illness and some down to his childhood and the way that he was brought up. But he still has the ability to make the choices to influence and affect the outcomes in many ways. I still love him and he's still my dad. I feel in many ways I could have followed his path, as I mentioned earlier, and yes, it's not the same circumstances, but I took the decision to use what had happened to me to change my life for the better, to accept the help and be the person that I am today. I've been listening to an audiobook recently by Mark Manson, and one of the key points that stuck with me is that we as individuals are responsible for the decisions in our lives no matter the external circumstances. We control and interpret what happens to us. I went through something horrific, but look, we can't turn back the clock and change what has happened. But what we can do is choose who we want to be going forward. I use my lived experiences every day to make sure I'm the best version of myself. I want to be successful. My life and experiences give me the drive and determination more than anything else to transform and achieve that dream. And you too can use the crap that you have been through. And every time someone said that you aren't good enough or put you down, use that to push you forward and transform into the best version of yourself. One of the things that many times stopped me in my transformation, and I'm sure many of you, is fear. The biggest thing stopping us doing anything in life, the fear of failure. Who wants to be a failure? No one. We all want to be successful in everything we do, but most of the time we're never going to be successful at the first attempt. It's okay to fail and fail and fail again, but keep going. The greatest success comes from failure. It's through the power of choice, the choice not to give up on your dreams, that you will ultimately succeed. At the end of the day, everyone is looking for the best result in the quickest amount of time. True transformation is hard and can be time consuming. But if everything in life was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? I didn't want to seek help at first. I feared my feelings and I feared admitting that I was struggling. I didn't want people to think that I was a failure. But in doing this, I was actually becoming a failure. I was going to fail my GCSEs and I wasn't going to achieve anything that I ever dreamed of unless I decided to act and act now. The thing with transformation is there's always some sort of catalyst, an event or realization. If you don't make a change now, you risk it getting out of hand or being left behind. But remember, it's never too late to make the choice to change. Having people around me throughout my life who have supported me has helped me make the right choices. After my counselling, choosing to go to university and meeting the people that are now my biggest supporters and friends changed my life again. If it were not for them, I would never have had the courage to stand up and decide to tell my story to inspire others. Never underestimate the power of support from your friends. Now, through my choices and my transformation, I hope that I can inspire others that no matter where you come from, no matter what you have been through, no mountain is too high. If you truly want something, no matter how hard it is, with determination, you can and you will achieve your dreams. At the start of this talk, I told you where I was in my life, achieving some amazing things, then took you through where I was 12 years ago, some of the challenges and horrendous things that I faced throughout my childhood. I was even at the point where I thought it'd be better if I ended my life now. But through the power of choices I made to change my life, I got to this stage, this screen in front of you today. It's through the power of choice I stood under the highest point on earth. It's through the power of choice I choose every day to share my experiences in the hope to inspire others that there is a brighter future. We can create a brighter future. Don't let fear beat you. No matter where you are right now, you can transform your life in whatever way you choose. If you leave here today with one thing from me, it's life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you choose to react. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you choose to react. If you truly want it enough, you will succeed. Thank you. I am Rhys Dickinson, and it's been an absolute pleasure sharing my story and thoughts with you today. Thank you.